Right. Hello. I am David Acton. I am the Director of Music at First Congregational Church. Today is the 10th of August, and I will be interviewing Dwayne Short and Todd Evers as part of First Congregational's 150th anniversary celebration. And so there's some questions here that we've been asking other parishioners, and I'll start with some of those adapted for you since neither of you are members, but you are definitely a part of our community. And so they ask, what are your first memories of First Congregational Church?
First memories of First Congregational Church was, oh my God, what a mess. It was when it was, rotor still had, it was all mechanical action back then, and you had to be really careful walking in because the floor was just covered with all these little sticks, but they're actually action pieces. And it was a mess.
Right. I remember hearing about that. What about you?
What year was that?
Well, let's see, would have been back in the mid-'80s, late 80s.
So yeah, so that.
Well, wait, I take that back. It would have been early 90s because in the 80s I was basically still just did Denver jobs in Boulder with Morrell and Associates. It would have been early 90s when I got back.
And so the most recent rebuild was in 2012, so that you were.
Yeah, and that's when I built the new console and everything, yeah.
Right.
Nice. Do you have any memories, Dwayne?
Yeah, I remember thinking, wow, this place is great. And I'd seen a lot of pipe organs around over the years, a lot of years. And this is pretty special. The rebuild that was done in 2012 really kind of, I think, brought it back to where it once was in a way. And
Yeah, because Rotor
but
pretty
modernized
much,
at the same time with the new action, new console.
Yeah, Rotor pretty much destroyed the original action.
Yeah, I've seen other work from that company, and it's pretty rough. And so what walk in now is like it definitely looks like
It's
a new restored instrument.
It's
for
respectable
sure.
now.
Yeah, it's quite good, I think.
Nice. Well, you mentioned some work back in 2012. Do you remember some of the highlights of that work?
Well, we got to take out all of the mechanical action, which was fun because it was basically you just take a saw and start cutting things apart. I saved the roller boards so I could cut them down and mount the new pull down magnets for the chest work, and then I got to build the console and install it. Was fun. We got lots of pictures of it. Oh, and paint. There's 5 case pipes that had to be repainted in your case, and so we had a problem with the gold on the mouths because the original gold was gold leaf, and we could not find any gold leaf to match. So what we ended up getting was it's pinstriping paint and painting all the mouths gold.
Oh, okay.
So that way everything matched. But I got the greens and the reds and the browns and everything else to match, just like
Perils
gold.
of organ building. Color match is very important, of course.
Yeah.
And particularly old pipes like that have also, then of course those were all cleaned.
Well, actually, those pipes were a different color. Evidently, somebody in the past had gotten a ladder and varnished all the pipes. So the colors on the back side are different than what's on the front side.
Oh, really?
Yes, sir.
Cool. I did not know that. I didn't pay close enough attention.
Oh, well, when Scott was the organist here, I built the new console. Well, he had really fat feet. So if you notice the swell shoe opening, it's about an inch wider on both sides. I had to take it back to the shop and modify it. And the music rack did not have LEDs underneath the music lip. So I took that, I made a new one and added more LEDs to the console too.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
That was a little dark. You didn't see it in the shop because you got plenty of light in the shop, but when you bring it into the church, it's like, oh, we need light.
Yeah. Nice. Thanks. There's some other secrets on the console, right? Or not secrets, but like little Easter eggs, like in the design.
On the bench itself, if you look at the legs themselves on the bench, there's some for the leg stretcher. There's some little pieces of wood that emulate railroad spikes.
Right.
Because Colorado Springs has a rich history with that. And then if you look at the legs on the bench too, I got that from Beauty and the Beast, the little walking clock.
Oh, Cogsworth?
Yes, the little walking clock. That's what the legs actually, that's where I got my idea.
We'll have to put some pictures up for the people watching. That's awesome. So you mentioned action and the change of action from mechanical to whatever we have now.
Electric pull.
Electric. Could you talk a little bit more for people who might not know about what that means?
Well, mechanical action would have been you push the key and it pushed a stick, and the stick pushed a square, which then in turn pulled a stick, which went to another square and pulled a lever, and pulled the little leather piece that pulled the pull down for the pipe.
That's a long way of saying it's a direct connection from the key up to the pipe.
Well, yes, you're right. You're very right. And now it's just an electric magnet pull down that's directly off the little leather, we call them pigs, off the pull down in the chest.
Oh, nice. Cool. Yeah, it's fun to go in there when someone else is playing and like watch them click around. Yeah. Nice. And that simplifies things a little bit.
A lot. Well, then you actually don't have to be reaching through all the little sticks to touch things, and all those. It makes the grate and the choir very difficult to tune, because you have 61 sticks that are only a 1/16 of an inch thick by about 3/8 of an inch, and you have 61 of them that you have to actually not break, because that goes up in between the grate and the choir to play the swell.
And of course, that enables the console to be detached and movable, and not.
We love that.
Yeah. And not you're back to the congregation all the time, permanently.
Well, the console was also.
Yeah.
The console was attached to the case, and it was up on 3 steps.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, so it had this actual little railing, and it just. Yeah,
if you have some pictures of the interior of just the lower part of the organ, one of the reasons, of course, it's not as empty as it was now with the addition of the new blower, but that was full of the mechanical action previously. So now that that's gone, there's room enough to move around in there for servicing what's done. So, yeah.
So the new blower. Let's go to the work that we just did. Could you talk a little bit about some of the reasons for needing to put in a second blower?
Maybe I could say what was happening, and then you can tell.
Go for it.
Well, what, as you know, was happening, of course, when large combinations of pipes and stops are played all at once in large chords, especially the pitch of the organ, because of the wind literally dropping, the wind and the action caused the pitch to of course drop, and that's not that great musically, as we all know. So the goal was to really figure out. Now, also some back history on that was, I think during the renovations in 2012, that was discussed, but the funds were like, that's marginal, let's wait, and that's what we sort of corrected from then by installing a new blower, and based on some calculations that, of course, Todd did, and with some research too.
It goes back a long ways. There's a actual blower down here in the basement in your boiler room that was actually working. Oh. And then Morrell and Associates lost the job to John Gruno here in Colorado Springs, and something about asbestos. That blower is still here. It's abandoned, and the other blower was put in.
Oh.
The first Chance blower was put in, which by calculations is only half of the CFM, cubic feet per minute, that the organ actually needs. So when we took the organ back, when John Gruno, I think he moved to Saudi or something. His wife is a designer. They moved to Saudi for some reason. When we got the job back, he had already installed the Chance blower. Well, it's not playing enough wind, and with the renovations, the new consoles, electrification, and the relay and everything, the church just couldn't afford the second blower, which we needed at the time. Mm-hmm. And at the time, the electrician said there wasn't another 220 outlet over there. So we just lived with one blower until recently when we got the second blower put in, and now we're hopefully getting it all settled. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
the last touches on today, basically. So
That's so exciting. Yeah. So you did a bunch of calculations, and I have some of your work. It's really
Yeah, well, you also gotta realize that at elevation. I mean, you took the elevation. The chamber is like right at 5,990 feet,
yeah,
and you lose 20% of wind. Airplane pilots understand that when you go up and the air gets thinner. The air gets thinner in pipe organs. Flue pipes despise thin air. Reeds love it.
yeah.
So you can actually, if you have reeds at sea level voiced at 5 inches, you can bring them here and put them on 5 inches or no problem. You have a flue at 5 inches at sea level, you bring it up here, and it's like anemic. It's asthma.
Well, and when he's talking about flues and reeds, those are the two fundamental types of organ pipes, and the flues are cylindrical whistles, whereas the reeds, as it suggests, have a vibrating tongue. So they're fundamentally very different, but they're fundamentally part of the organ. So there's that issue with elevation of here, and we asked around as well as making calculations of what that CFM needed to be at this elevation, and it's substantially different than at sea level. Like you said, I think we said even figured as much as almost 30% more for flue pipes here than lower elevations. So
that's crazy.
I had to get used to that coming west from growing up in the South where we didn't have that issue.
Right.
So
Exactly.
So that's what we've been working on.
Well, Laterno learned that lesson too. The Laterno here in Colorado Springs.
Oh, the First Christian.
Yeah, when they installed that, they were like, "Sacre bleu, what's wrong?"
It was all in French, of course.
I didn't speak French, but Don spoke
Don
French
did,
at the time.
Yeah.
And when we walked out, Don just says, "It needs more wind."
Well, we're doing a little project for some addition in Texas, and through a friend of mine, and I've been having to adjust the wind pressure, voicing it here in Colorado for the lower elevation in Texas, so it makes a difference. And that's what happened fundamentally. It was like, we're just running out of wind. But, so
yeah.
Well, in this project, did you run into any unexpected challenges?
The curtain valve.
what we're working on today.
Yes.
Could you talk a little bit more about what that means?
A curtain valve is an internal valve in the reservoir. When the reservoirs are the lungs of the organ. Okay, the blower is the wind, then the reservoirs are the lungs, and you have to regulate the pressure. It would be like your voice, somebody stepping on your chest, and your voice goes squeaky. But there's a valve inside, and as the organ needs more air, the reservoir is going to drop, and which in that case it has to open the curtain valve and to let more air in to replenish it. And at this point in time, we thought that everything was working, but there wasn't. The curtain valves are old, and they're basically only opening about 1/4 of an inch. And that's why you were running out of air on the swell. So I've retrofitted a whole new box.
Kind of brought it in here and showed it to them, actually.
Well.
I can take some pictures.
Yeah,
maybe.
okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Awesome.
Yeah. So that should help to stabilize that.
Nice.
I think so.
I hope so. We'll see what happens. Today's a big day for that. On the other end, were there any unexpected wins in this project? Unexpected things that went really well?
Installation went really well. It was easy to get and put it in and fit it, and not a lot of.
It just got as long as you plan, things work out.
Right, of course.
It's nothing worse than no plans.
Yeah, we drew it all out and had it ready to fit so that didn't have any unexpected challenges.
Yeah, it took like just a couple days.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it took a couple days just to do the drawings and get everything figured
of
too.
course.
And I also
just meant the
went
installation.
yeah, the installation, but also the electrician finding the circuit that we needed. That was
That was a great help.
yeah,
Because the
And
project
it's hard,
the project couldn't go forward if you didn't have an extra circuit for another blower.
yeah.
Right, absolutely.
So that was
Yeah,
good news.
We had like the chief electrician or something that day, so that was
Yeah.
that was good. Do you have any other thoughts about this particular project and how it went, or anything that you learned?
Definitely learned about how elevation affects pressure and
Right.
I just like restoring historical instruments.
yeah.
I mean, the more history we save, the better off we are.
Absolutely.
I mean, we always learn from history. I mean, just even painting the pipes, I learned a lot. And, mechanical actions changed over the years. Think about the first pipe organ was 246 BC. I mean, there's such an evolution that there's so much to learn that not one person could ever build a pipe organ by themselves.
Oh, that sounds daunting.
That's the church is to be congratulated for being very good stewards and preservationists of this instrument, because it's in really fine shape, and so it's a treat to be able to be custodian of it for a while.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's like
They're very proud of it.
It's like designing the organ, because if you look at the organ case itself, it's got these interwoven half circles. That's what I tried to emulate with the console, so that way it all blended in.
Absolutely.
Just want things to match.
What do you see for the future of the organ? Like, are there any other projects that you see coming down the road, or anything like that, besides general maintenance?
We haven't really talked or thought about anything like that. I don't see
how the organ can get much better than what it is at this
in
point.
good shape, and so
I mean, we replaced the 16-foot open wood with 1913 SD pipes when we redid this, because Roederer had I don't know what he did with the original Hook and Hastings 16-foot open wood, but there was a set of pale green pipes back there that had cardboard and masonite in the mouths, trying to make it all speak.
Interesting.
It was really dismal. So, I mean, it was back in the 90s we pulled that SD out of Third Christian Reform. And bottom C actually dislocated my shoulder. It was so big back in the 90s. And then we shoved it out this little, it just barely went out the bathroom window out of that church.
So
Nice.
those are the wood pipes that you see on the
Outside's the real big
Oh,
pipes.
here.
Those are the new ones. And I rebuilt,
so
and
nice.
I built
And
new
they make
chests. Yeah, Wurlitzer style chests and all that. Yeah.
well, the organ's in great shape. I mean, other than maybe a color stop harmonic flute
Or replace that reed up there.
yeah,
That's a possibility.
that was an addition in the swell trumpet,
Yeah,
especially
yeah.
that was an addition by Roederer, I guess.
Oh, the 4-foot.
Yeah,
That thing is strident.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's not very stable. But those are kind of minor things.
Yeah, just
forward.
maybe replace a set of pipes here and there. That'd be about it.
Cool.
Because
Just-
I mean, it's got a modern Peterson relay on it, and those are Hoist pull-down magnets.
So
It's all top of the line stuff.
Nice. Well, that's good to hear.
mhm.
I think the congregation will like hearing that as well. That
Good.
kind of at the peak of where we can be right now. Do you have any other memories or things that you'd like to say about this project, or
Just
working on our organ?
Pleasure to work here.
Yeah,
For sure.
It is. I mean, Sid's been really great. I mean, everybody's offered coffee and everything, trying to keep us happy.
It's coffee and
Coffee and donuts.
Gotta love church coffee. It's a special thing. Nice. Well, we hope we get to work with you for many years.
so do we. Thank you.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
getting older.
We all.
We all.
Yeah, I mean, the back surgeries have gotten to me, but oh well.
Hmm. Well, I'm out of questions. If you have no other thoughts, I think this was a lovely interview. It was great to talk with you all, and
Thank you.
Okay.
absolutely,
And it didn't take 30 minutes.
it didn't. Nice.
20.
Okay.
Ooh, that's perfect.
I have a question. What we see there at the front of the organ pipes, those aren't real pipes,
Those are real pipes.
Mhm.
They're part of the 16-foot. There's a couple stops. They're I think like 2/3 or 3/4 of them all are speakers. There's not hardly any dummies.
Dummies are speaker, the non-speaking. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
non-speaking
our
pipes. They're
technical-
just there for show, to fill in. But most of your pipes are speakers.
Yeah, 'cause I remember when the rebuild was done of the whole, church back in 12 there, the ceiling fell in, that the front came off, but the organ still worked. And there was all sorts of hoses and what have you running around in there.
Yes, they're hoses. They're paper flex. Originally, they were cardboard. They were cardboard tubes that were mitered, and the miters were wrapped in leather. But a lot of that had deteriorated over the years. So what we did is we just ordered paper flex, which is from Organ Supply, and it comes in different sizes, and we just ran it around there because it actually has to go from the chest, where the playing mechanism is, all the way out to the showpiece of the case to make those pipes speak. And air doesn't really matter. Think of air as like a stick. And if the air is in the tube, you just start pushing it here, and the air that's in the tube pushes. Because pipe organs aren't really on that high of pressure. Your air compressor, you got 32 psi, pounds per square inch in your tires. Well, actually, a pipe organ plays on like 4 to 5 inches of wind. Inches are, it's 27 and 5/8 inches of wind to make 1 psi.
Oh,
So we're actually very low pressure, but a lot of volume.
got it. I didn't realize it was on that low of pressure.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I mean, 1 psi on your air compressor, it's like, what's this? It's like out of air. But yet that's what we're
Yes.
playing the whole organ on.
Interesting.
But just like lots of volume,
Right.
just no pressure.
A gentle breeze, but a lot of it.
Yes.
Interesting. And if anyone watches this interview and has questions about some of the terminology that we've used, that's why I'm here. So I'm glad to help.
Yeah, wind chests and consoles and I mean, a lot
Grade,
of-
swell, choir, all the
yeah,
things.
I'm like, what are they talking about? Roller boards and
Yeah.
like
But
That one I might
That was a good one about the air pressure and the tube. It's like it is. It's like a straw. I mean, it doesn't take that much pressure to blow that spitball out to your sister. As a kid.